been a crazy day, super busy. I'm here with the legend right now, and Austin's here giving them feedback over at FlightSim.com, who has a phenomenal simulator. So Austin just flew it in his game, X-Plane, and gave them some awesome feedback. And they're in the middle of dialing it in right now.
Okay. Even though we're actually up in a cruise. So, yeah, so maybe if we're in some stronger motors or something during the course of, because when you're at high speed, you're like going, oh no, I hope we don't break the yoke, because there's significant load. But at low speed, it's exactly like this. Okay. Landing. She think I was going.
I have no idea. Oh, power lines. Don't do this at home, my friends.
No, the FAA is not going to come visit me.
You want to lower the flaps to be safe.
Land the Best Buy and
Grab a mouse and grab a quick mouse and keyboard.
Austin is
Right?
professional.
Butter.
how do you brake? You use the brakes as well?
I used them.
Okay.
The real brakes you have to push a lot harder.
Right,
You have to
okay.
push the real brakes harder. The rudder pedals in the real plane might be a little looser, less damped.
Okay, less
Remember,
damped.
there's just a little bungee cord. There's no damping in the rudder of a Cessna. It's like,
Okay.
like so the
That's
rudder
true.
should have almost no damping. But the
Okay.
brakes are quite a bit harder to push because you're actually pushing hydraulic fluid. So the brakes should be heavy because you're pushing the hydraulic fluid. The rudder should have no damping because they just spring.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, your input is super valuable.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, it's but I mean, you can always go rent a Skyhawk, and
Yeah,
give it a
yeah,
try.
yeah,
And
You have to be a test pilot, by the way, to
yeah,
bring his values out.
Yeah, well, if anybody knows Philly.
rudder and force for brakes,
See.
and then your damping. So there's your spring force, and there's your damping. But you only enter it for one speed, and then I assume that they vary with the dynamic pressure on the airplane. You see, and then the stall and stick shaker. The aero stall force frequency and stall force stick shaker. So the aerodynamic stall will cause the stick to do like this because the actual randomized air hitting the tail.
Right.
And then the stick shaker is different. That's synthetic or artificial. Force multiplier if you have a hydraulic failure. In other words, you want to fly a hydraulic airplane without hydraulics. And the maximum allowable forces if you want to limit that. So it's a very basic model. You can really do a lot more,
Okay.
but it's based on first principles.
Okay.
And then it outputs the forces to data refs. So if you were just to fill those in, then access the data refs, you would be using this model. It won't give you a whole lot of details, but what it will do will be pretty decent.
Okay.
Because it's the first principles model of aerodynamic laws. So it's a thing you can try if you felt like it. And needless to say, it's very, very clear. So that's standard menu, control geometry, stick forces.
Okay.
And every airplane, you'll set this obviously for every individual
Sure,
airplane.
absolutely.
So should be, it'll be an easy experiment for you to try. Oops.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm operating this thing off the side. All right, so that's an idea. Something more detail, if I want to. But I haven't. There's a reason I haven't. I haven't added my own detail because I just know that each person's going to want to do their own interface to their hardware
That's
as
correct.
you did. And so why would I go in and do a whole bunch of stuff when you already know exactly how you want to drive your hardware? So I just feel like force feedback is one of those things where each manufacturer is going to come up with the perfect interface for their hardware. So I have the basic system if anybody wants to use it, and if you want to go farther than that, then you do so with your own system that you clearly have already designed. So that's my thinking.
Okay. Yeah.
Or is that my plugins and data refs provide all of the information that you need to drive the system successfully. And I tell you in data refs, what is the dynamic pressure? What is the angle of attack? What is the side slope? What are the control deflections? All that is available by data refs. And so as long as you get all those data refs from X-Plane, then you have all the information you need to drive the controls however you want. And then you decide how you want to drive the controls.
If we,
That's the idea.
If we come across anything where we
where you need another data ref and you can't find it.
Or is there a way to as a manufacturer
support?
to
What's our friend's name?
Yeah, it's Austin@xplane.com.
Okay.
Austin. I mean, half the people in this room have emailed me. So I mean,
That's so amazing.
Don't worry about it. It's Austin, capital Texas, Austin at xplanes, x-planes.com.
And you read your own emails?
Yes, I do read all my emails. I read
like
all
that.
my emails.
That's great.
And so you can shoot me an email and say, hey, I need the following thing for force feedback. And I'll tell you the chances are basically 99.9%. We already have it. And I'll say, oh, you want this data ref. And I'll just give you the exact data ref. And when you write your plugins, you grab the data refs, you grab the data from Xplane. I'm like, oh yeah, you want flight models / major / dynamic pressure or something like that. And then sure enough, that'll be the aerodynamic pressure on the
Let
airplane.
me ask you, do you fly your own simulator to test and things like that?
Oh, I constantly
What yoke do you use?
a $29 Logitech Extreme 3D Pro, and there's a reason for it. There's a
Okay,
reason
sure.
for it. All of my flights last on average 45 seconds,
Okay.
right? Because I need to do a thing, fly test, code
Sure.
test, code test,
Right,
code
right,
test, code
right.
test. And then as soon as I'm done using it, what do I want to do? Throw it out to the other side of the desk, bring out the pen, the paper, the laptop, all the other stuff I'm using for reference. So my average X-plane flight, and then I'm always moving around. Now I got to go fly at a lab. Now I got to go fly at here at a conference. Now I got to go, tell people how to design airplanes. So what I need is the most light, quick, portable system.
That's right.
Not the most realistic and feels like a real airplane. For me, it's about light and portable. So I have a Mac Studio, right, which is half the size of a lunchbox. I can carry it around.
Yeah.
I got a laptop, so I can carry it around. I got a $29 Logitech because I can carry it around. If I drop it and break it, I don't care. It's $29. And so for me, it's all about being light, quick, and portable. But I never mind testing the stuff and giving feedback, but always, forever, always making sure that I provide the data refs, give you all the data from Xplane, so then you can write the interface to do whatever you want to do. So you can drive whatever, any hardware in this room can be driven as easily as possible.
Would you be willing to test force feedback devices more on a long-term basis so that the industry can advance, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I am willing to test them. I am on a Macintosh though.
Oh,
I
you're
code
on a Mac.
So as long as, if you want to send me something that we can plug into a Mac, then yeah, I'll test it. I'll give you feedback. Yes.
So you're not a Windows fan?
It's not exactly. So I hate Apple, the company. As far as I'm concerned, their tax cheats. They pretend they're in Ireland to get out of paying taxes in the United States.
Right.
So I view them as dishonest. Nothing against WinWing. That's great. We have Chinese manufacturers.
Sure.
It's great. It's awesome. I love it. Apple pretends to be an American company,
understand.
but they're actually a distribution channel for Chinese goods. And again, it's great to have Chinese goods, but then don't pretend to be an American company, right? So they pretend to be American when it comes time to look good, but then they get the goods from China. Then when it's time to pay their taxes, well, then it turns out they're filed their corporation in Ireland, so they have to pay that's not honest.
Doesn't
They're not
Google do it
honest.
as well?
What's
Google
that?
does it as well.
Oh, I'm
Google.
sure they all do.
They
I'm sure they all
yeah.
do. And so I'm not a fan
Okay, of the
of
company.
the two-faced, not lack of honesty. That bothers me. So I don't care for Apple, the company. Gee, are you going to post this?
100% no. This part is saying,
You actually can. Whatever I say, I want people to do
Okay.
what they make is really nice. I mean, they're new M1 chips, M2
And
chips, and
the
stuff. They're just so
integration,
nice. The integration is
with
nice. The
iPhone,
hardware is nice,
iPad.
and I can work with them quite quickly. So the interface and the hardware and the compiler let me work very, very fast.
I see.
And so Apple has plenty of problems as a company, and they know all this. I mean, I think most people know this. Nobody just bothers to say anything about it. But I tend to use Apple, not Windows, just because I can get my job done quicker. And they have short, tight, or small, tight packages that are portable and I can easily carry around.
Right.
So yeah, I do use Mac just because I can get my job done quicker.
Okay.
Well, I knew you were going to be a nice guy. I had that feeling. But I got to tell you another thing. I know why you fly the plane you fly. Because flying it on X-plane, I was like, oh God.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's something, isn't it?
Oh my God, I love flying that plane.
Yeah, it's
I get it why you like it
right.
so much.
And it takes a lot of skill on that airplane to keep it smooth.
Yes.
Right. If you're not, you can go more power, yeah, and then you're like, oh no, I need to slow down, yank power, and the prop acts as a speed brake. So you can be incredibly sloppy.
That's the fun of
The
it.
trill is to not be sloppy.
Yes, yes.
The skill is, even though you can fly it like this if you're rough. The
Fly it out.
trick is to keep it as smooth because it doesn't weigh anything. It has no weight. And because it doesn't weigh anything, it's a carbon fiber bubble with the turbine engine. Because it doesn't weigh anything, little mistakes have you just all over the sky.
You still have that?
Yeah, I do. It's in the shop right now getting upgrades. I'm switching out the avionics from Garmin 1000 to G3X because my Garmin's are having some problems with reliability. So the trick, even though the airplane is really, really light, it's not flimsy, but it's light. Fly it so it feels heavy.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
And if you can do that, then you've flown it well. Fly it feels like you're in an airliner,
Yeah.
even though you're in a light little carbon fiber bubble. That's the
I'm
trick.
starting to get good at it because I fly it a lot. It's one of my favorite planes to fly.
Same here.
Out of curiosity, I used to own a Columbia 350.
You what now?
Columbia 350.
What about it?
How different is it from yours?
From my Evolution or from my simulated Columbia?
No, your Evolution.
Completely different.
Really?
So I flew a Columbia 400.
Okay.
Before I've owned 3 Columbia 400s.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
First I got one, and then when it was on the ramp, a hailstorm came.
Oh, that was
and-
the one in Oregon?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So I switched to another one. Then a microburst came
Oh,
and
my
collapsed a
goodness.
hanger on it, and so I got a third one. So I've owned 3 Columbias. 2 of them have been damaged or destroyed, and every time the airplane was damaged, it was because I was not flying it. Right? If I had been in Oregon, I never would have flown into the hailstorm. If I had been in South Carolina, I never would have flown into the big thunderstorms, microbursts. It was specifically because I was not flying them that they were damaged.
So I want to ask you the very critical question: Why the Columbia? I have my own reasons versus the Cirrus.
Okay, so I owned a Cirrus. I owned a Cirrus SR22. I've owned a Cirrus SR22, and I've owned three Columbias. So I know the answer to the question. So let me start by saying, technically, the Cirrus is every bit as good as the Columbia, if not even a little better. The Cirrus has a longer,
How about
bigger,
this?
more efficient wing.
Handling,
The
okay.
handling on the Cirrus, okay, so they both handle wonderfully. They're both great, just like the handling on both planes is so good, it's ridiculous how good the handling is. But the Cirrus, they got those ailerons in, so it's like hops and roll. The Columbia with the shorter wing and some ailerons that don't have any like fences outboard the ailerons to block the flow from coming around the wingtips, the ailerons are a lot less effective than the Columbia. So with the Cirrus, you can roll like this, where the Columbia is more like you're carving a turn like this. So the Columbia actually has less precise or less immediate roll, but it actually makes the airplane feel nicer to fly.
Right.
Because the Cirrus pops over, but the Columbia cars into the turn. So they're both just incredibly good airplanes, and the Cirrus probably does have more refined engineering. The Cirrus is probably the slightly better engineered, more refined airplane than the Columbia. I still got Columbias instead of the Cirruses because the Columbias are just a little bit faster. They got a little bit of a tighter body like this, more of a sports car feel, a much more just like sexy, sporty, modern cockpit, modern
After that,
look.
it became the DTX when Cessna
Correct.
bought it, right?
That's
And
correct.
then
Yep.
The cruise speed and the maximum cruise is amazing.
Yep,
Over 200
a
knots.
little faster than the Cirrus.
Right.
So the Columbia just it looks a little more special and exotic
That's what I
and
thought.
rare, and it feels a little more
Yeah.
special, exotic, and rare. It goes a little faster. It's just like the Cirrus technically has a little more engineering, a little more refinement. They build more airplanes. They do more research and development. They refine the design more. The Columbia was more like kind of a special, exotic.
That's why I always thought the Columbia was a little bit more sexy.
Yeah, it is.
Rev appeal, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the
that's
Dolphin doors and
exactly
things
it.
like this.
Yeah. And then they're nothing like the Evolution. No,
Okay.
They may look similar, the Lancair
Okay.
Columbia and the Evolution, they're nothing like. Nothing like. I mean, remember the Columbia 350 is 310 horsepower. My Evolution is 850.
Jesus.
But they both have the same empty weight. Right? They weigh the same. And then it's like what? Like a little three-bladed prop in the Columbia. It's this gigantic four-blade like windmill up in the front of the Evolution.
The reason I flew that was because I watched the video of you talking about it. I think you mentioned taking your wife and you scoot out and go to places.
Yeah.
And that's the reason, after watching that video, I said, I'm going to try this
I gotta
out.
fly this thing. Yeah, it's incredible. But with the Evolution, it's almost like flying a helicopter. The handling is not nearly as good. The handling of the Evolution is not that great.
Okay.
It's almost like flying a helicopter because if you add power, then all of a sudden there's all this torque. And so the whole plane rolls. You have to break the roll to counteract. Then, of course, you got the spiraling slipstream. and it slams into the vertical stab. The whole plane goes whoa, like that. You have to get on the right rudder. Then it starts speeding up. What happens when an airplane speeds up? It starts trying to go up, and you have to trim down. And so as soon as you add throttle, you have to counteract and then roll and
Every axis.
It's like flying a helicopter. It's a very hard flight. That's why I say it's easy to fly. It's hard to fly well. And I have yet to be able to do a takeoff in that airplane that isn't like this. Like that, yeah. I can, because you got all that torque coming, and as you transfer from the wheels to the wings, the whole dynamic changes right there. And no matter how much you try and anticipate it, I can never anticipate it perfectly. And I've yet to level off at the top of a climb smoothly, because as soon as you come up off the top of the climb, you level off.
Nose goes
all
down.
of a sudden, you're changing angle of attack, you're changing speed, and then as you go back from a climb power to a cruise power, that adjusts the prop wash, the torque, the spiraling slipstream,
All over
and
again.
the speed all over again. So every climb is like this.
So it's constantly being affected.
Like that. So
Have
it's,
you ever flown or been in an Eclipse jet?
yes, I have flown an Eclipse jet.
I used to own it for 2 years, you know. It's lovely.
Yes, I have pretty high stick courses, but that's
Right.
fine. But
I
I have
liked
flown
it.
Yeah, I liked it. Sure. I did like the Eclipse jet. Yeah, the handling is great. Yeah, fine.
Because it's, you know, centerline kind of thing.
Yep.
Centerline thrust.
Yep.
It's easy to
Close to
fly
it.
even with one
Yep.
engine out.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. My favorite airplane I've ever flown, there was the Phenom 300.
Really?
Do you know this airplane?
Of course,
Phenom?
of course.
I know that one.
Oh, but it's a $10 million jet.
Yeah.
I have 4 hours, about 4 hours in the airplane. I flew one from Texas to North Carolina one time, right seat.
Wow, right, okay.
And
How about Mustang? Have you ever flown the Mustang?
I have. Yep.
Any comments on the Mustang?
Yeah, very nice.
Easy to fly, right? T1000.
Yep. So I was given a demo flight in a Mustang from when Cessna wanted to sell me a Mustang. Yeah, they wanted to sell me the airplane, and so they took me on the test flight. It's very nice, no question. It's incredible, absolutely, definitely incredible. Because you're in a small airplane, but you absolutely know you're in a jet. It's not half a jet.
Yeah.
It's a jet.
It's a jet.
It's a jet. It's a full jet. And it was great, but it didn't suit my mission, because part of my mission is to learn about aviation.
Okay.
How do I learn about aviation? I modify the airplane. I break the airplane.
Yeah.
I fix the airplane. I may change the airplane. The Evolution is experimental. The Evolution is experimental. I've changed things in that airplane. I've changed my mind. I've had people try change systems. So you can only do that experimental. You can't do that certified. So, and remember, I helped build that airplane, and I do maintenance on that airplane. And so, given that part of the mission is to learn about aviation, you want to go experimental, not certified. That's true. And remember, what's the Mach number? What's the Mach number on the Citation Mustang? 0.55, 0.6?
Probably around there. Similar to the Eclipse. Eclipse is faster, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure the Eclipse is.
Yeah.
But the Mustang is like maybe Mach 0.55,
Sure.
Mach 0.6.
And
You know, the Evolution is 0.5.
Wow, serious.
So,
Is it a turboprop?
yeah, the Evolution is PT68-42.
No wonder. Okay.
Yeah,
It
PT68-42.
changes everything.
Yeah, no, it's a,
So,
Yeah.
like you
yeah.
said, there's a windmill. on the
Yeah,
side.
oh yeah, you have it right on these computers. The latest revolution. Fly the Evolution on this computer tomorrow. But yeah, it cruises at 0.5. So that's not that much slower than the Mustang.
Okay.
So and the Evolution is a lot less expensive than the Mustang.
Sure,
to buying to operate. So it's way less money. It's about the same performance, and you learn more from flying it, and you have the fun of helping build it. You don't
Okay.
get any of those things with the Mustang.
Okay,
You
now
just don't
we
get it.
understand, right?
And then the final
backstory.
icing on the cake. So the Cessna guys came. They're like, they're like this. Well, do you want to buy a Mustang? Well, we'll let you fly it. The attitude was kind of like, and I was like, so tell me about the paint. What kind of paint job can I get? And they're like,
What?
we'll take the paint that's on the airplane. At this price point, we can't give custom paint. I'm
Are you
like, oh,
serious?
Yes. And I was like, well, when do I get to fly? Like, well, we'll sell it to you, but you can't fly it yet. We're going to be leasing it to another customer
Hello.
first.
Yeah, good to you.
Austin, video?
Yeah, dinner at 7, right? Which is in 9 minutes. Right, I'll be there.
Yeah. You wanna join?
Yeah, I'll walk
join
there in
me?
2 minutes. 2 minutes. I'll finish the conversation. We'll walk there together. All right, sounds good.
Hey.
And so, in other words, they're selling me like a $3 million airplane.
Yeah, I know.
But because it's their cheapest airplane, they just can't be bothered.
Did he approach you? Did he approach you with an M2 then?
Yes, I'm just not going to buy an M2. It's me, my wife, one daughter. There's 3 of us. we fit in an Evolution, like not a business jet.
Yeah,
Not a business jet.
So your favorite of all time aircraft is Phenom?
For how it flies. For how it flies, it's so precise. It's all the problems, the pitch and the heading and the roll and the trim that I find in the Evolution, none of that exists in the Phenom. The Phenom flies like it is a video game. It is video game level precision. I mean, you pull on the yoke, there is no slop, there is no delay. You just pull and you just watch your little attitude go, perfect, like you're driving a video game, and you're just under a steady 1.2 G, as the nose comes up, and it's fast. I mean, the acceleration is like, holy crap. So it's just so fast and so precise. It feels like it's from the future. It feels futuristic.
Would you plan to get one?
No, out of my budget. Out of my budget. So I've blown so I was single for like 25 years writing X-Plane.
I read the whole thing.
This is really going to be fun online, but whatever I say, you can post. If I say it here, I say it online. I say it in front of a jury. I say the same thing to everyone. I'm not Apple Computer here. But, so it's like 25 years. I was all single, and I was writing X-Plane, and the money just kept coming in. I said, saving. Then I got married, and then my wife was like, I want to build our dream house in Vermont. And I'm like, let's see, construction costs in Vermont. That shouldn't be too bad. And boy, did I find out. And then I started working with Beta Technologies, and I'm an investor in Beta Technologies. So it took like every spare dollar I had. It's like, boom, I'm all in, baby, all in. I put all the chips on the table with Beta, and Beta is doing incredible, beyond belief, incredible stuff.
You wrote X-Plane because you wanted a better thing to train for yourself?
Absolutely, yeah. And so basically, I'm not in the market for a Phenom because I put all my money into my wife, my family, Beta, this company I'm investing in. So basically, I'm not spending my money on business jets and motor yachts. I'm spending my money on like the most incredible, just awesome, kick-ass stuff. And granted, we have a pretty nice house in Vermont. My wife loves it. Happy wife, happy life. Yeah.
There we go.
And, I got a pretty nice office to work in, and I've been able to invest in Beta quite a bit. I'm actually I think I'm the second biggest shareholder in Beta. Wow. So I'm putting all my chips into like the biggest possible games I possibly can. But so that's the exciting part. The other part, no, I'm not in the market for Phenom. I already spent everything. So,
You guys still got a great airplane, though.
yeah. Oh yeah. My Evolution is perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Don't need anything more.
No,
Don't need another
you
thing.
fly it. It's a lot of fun.
Don't need anything. All right. Well, I'm about to be late for dinner.
Thank you so much for your time, Austin.
Yeah, nice talking to you. It's totally legit to post it.
18
If
minutes
I
of
say
gold,
it,
baby.
If I say it in the room, I say it to everyone.
We learned about planes, business practices, and furthermore why X-Plane is the most realistic simulator on the planet. Created by a pilot for everyone.